Okay. Good afternoon, student. In the previous class, we have discussed regarding the process of RDNA technology. Okay. In that one, we have discussed regarding the isolation of the DNA, desired DNA. After that, we have discussed regarding the cutting of DNA at specific location, amplification. After that, we have discussed the insertion of recombinant DNA into the host cell. Then, next we have discussed the product of the recombinant DNA technology. So today we will discuss the another concept that is called as downstreaming process. So this downstreaming process, it means that as the biosynthetic or the biomass will be produced, the biomass will be produced into the bioreactor. So that biomass will be formation of pure form is called as downstreaming process. Okay, in this biotechnology or bioreactor, what happens? The biosynthetic, the mass of the organism will be produced. So that mass of the organism will produce the products. Okay, that mass will produce the products. Okay, so these products will consist the impurities, contaminations will be there. Impurities. This will consist the impurities. So these impurities will be removed or this will be separated. So after that separation, we will get pure product. We will get the pure product. So this getting the pure product is called as what? Downstreaming process. How we will get the pure product? Here, the biomass what happens? That will be filtered. That will be filtered. The next separation. The next purification. What happens? That biomass will be filtered, then separation will be takes place. So during that separation, what happens? The useful product. During the separation, the useful product will be taken and unuseful product will be removed. So as that will be taken, so that useful product, so that will be purified. That will be purified. So that is called as purification. That process is called as purification. After this purification, what happens? After this purification, what happens? The pure product will be produced. The pure product will be produced. So this pure product will be ready to market. The pure product will be ready to market or it will be released to market. So this process is called as downstreaming process. Means the separation and purification of the bioproduct which are produced in the bioreactor. That process is called as downstream process. So this completes what? The biotechnology principles and processes. The next one is the next one topic is called as biotechnology and its application. The next one is called as biotechnology and its application. Okay, here in this earlier topic, we have studied the biotechnology. So, how it will be used in the industrial product, that is called as to produce the what bioproduct in the large scale. So that is in the principle and processes. Then how we will get the desired product? Okay, what are the changes we have to done in that organism? So all these will be studied in the previous topic, that is called as biotechnology, principle and processes. So that biotechnology, how it will be helpful or it will be used in the human welfare. That will be how it will be used in the human welfare. That will be studied in the biotechnology and its application. Means the scope of biotechnology. So nowadays, what happens? The biotechnology has widest range of scopes in all the subject, in all the field. The biotechnology has been entered. Okay, in that one, the few we will discuss. One is called as therapeutics. Therapeutics. Therapeutics means the treatment of the disease. Okay, so therapeutics means the treatment of the disease. Okay, there are so many diseases are there. So that disease will be treated by the what application of biotechnology. So the product of biotechnology. You people have studied. Okay, so diagnosis. People have studied that the biotechnology, that disease, the diabetes. So that will be what treated by giving the insulin, and that insulin will be produced during the or by the biotechnology. So that is the treatment of the diseases. Like that gene therapy. So that gene therapy is also one of the what treatment for the disease. There are so many genetically disordered diseases are there. That genetically disordered diseases will be cured by treating them by the application of biotechnology. So that is by the synthesis of the product of the biotechnology, or directly it will alter, it will change the gene structure in the organism. So that is the therapeutics. Next one, diagnosis. Diagnosis. Here, the diagnosis means what? The detection, identification of the diseases. There are so many methods will be there. There are so many methods will be there. By that method, the diagnosis will be takes place, and the widely accepted or the most of the disease will be diagnosed by using the biotechnology, as we have discussed in the previous class. What is that? The HIV. The diagnosis of the HIV. The HIV will be diagnosed by using the biotechnology. Or the genetically disorders that will be diagnosed. What happens? The diagnosis of the disease will be takes place means the what type of disease will be there. Okay, that cycle of that disease will be studied. After that studied, so what happens? They will ready to give the treatment. That is called as diagnosis of diseases. The next, what is that? The crop improvement in the agriculture. Okay, what happens? The crop will be improved. There are so many crops are there that will be improved. So to yield the better quality of the product. So that crop will consist what? The nutritional value. So how it is possible? By the change in the, by the alteration of the what? Gene structure. So like that will be studied. So that is the crop improvement in the agriculture. The next one is food processing. Food processing. So it is also one of the field applied in the biotechnology. So what happens? The food. So what happens? That food will be kept nutritional value after packing. There are so many food will be transported from one place to another place. So during the transportation, the quality and quantity of the food will be what? Damages. It will be spoiled. So that will be prevented by the application of biotechnology. That is called as food processing. The next one, waste treatment. The next one is called as waste treatment. So this waste treatment, so this will be occurs in so many types. It may be the solid waste, it may be the chemical waste, okay, nuclear waste. The waste treatment, that waste will cause the effect to the organism. The waste will cause the effect to the organism. So that waste will be treatment by using the biotechnology. Next one is bioremediation. Okay, here that remediation, bioremediation means toxin or the toxic substance. Toxin or the toxic substance will be present. So in the water, soil, in the air. Okay, the toxic chemicals or the substance will be present in the air, and so that will cause the pollution. That will cause the pollution. Okay, so this toxin which are present in the water, soil, air, so that toxin will be removed. That toxin will be removed by using the microorganisms. By using the microorganisms, that microorganisms will be developed. That microorganisms will be developed by using the biotechnology. That is called bioremediation. Okay, next one. energy production. Here, the biotechnology will be applied in the energy production. As you people have seen that. So here, in this one, what happens? The synthesis of energy from the biological method. So that will be digested. You people have studied the biogas. So that biogas will be produced by the application of biotechnology. That is, the energy will be produced. Okay, all these are the application of biotechnology or the uses of biotechnology. Okay, then in this one, the critical areas will be there. The next one is critical research areas. Okay, the first one is the providing the what providing improved organisms or the enzymes. This is the first critical areas. The next one is called as creating optimum condition. Creating optimum condition through engineering, genetic engineering. The next one is downstream process. So these are the three critical research areas of biotechnology. The next we will discuss the application of biotechnology in the field of agriculture. Okay. Now we will discuss the application of biotechnology in the field of agriculture. So here, so agriculture is one of the important area in the India where most of the peoples will do this work. Okay, here this agriculture will be done by the different methods. So in this one, so there are three process or three steps will be there in that agriculture. First step is called as Okay, the first step is called as agrochemical based agriculture. Okay, agrochemical based agriculture means here chemicals. So for the agriculture purpose, earlier what they have done, they are using the chemicals. So earlier the farmers or the agriculturists, what they will do, they will use the chemicals. So their chemicals in the form of that chemical in the form of what? Fertilizers, the next insecticides and pesticides. So these are the what chemicals will be used in the agriculture. Okay, fertilizers. So these are the fertilizers which consist the chemicals that is NPK. Okay, so this NPK, what happens? It is essentially required for the growth of plant. Okay, the NPK is essentially required for the growth of the plant, so that the farmers will be provided the NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium will be provided to the plants in the form of chemical fertilizers. Okay, by giving the NPK to the plants, to the soil, to the soil. Okay, here by providing the NPK to the plants through the soil, what happens? The growth of the plant, growth of the plant will be increased, or the luxuriant growth will be takes place. As the luxuriant growth will be takes place, what happens? The plant will increase the yield of the, okay, the yield of the plant will be increases by using the chemical fertilizers. Okay, the yield of the plant will be increases. Okay, so in this one, so this yield will be increased. This is the one factor by using the fertilizers. Okay, by using insecticide and pesticides, by using the insecticides and pesticides, what happens? There also to the plants by using the insecticides and pesticides, what happens to the plant? The disease will be controlled by using the what? Insecticides and pesticides to the applied to the plant. So what happens? The disease which will occur to the crop plant, okay, to that crop plant, the disease will be controlled. As the disease will be controlled, what happens? From this plant, the increase in the yield will be takes place. The increase in the yield will be takes place. So how it is possible? By using the insecticide and pesticides. Okay, so by using this insecticide and pesticides, what happens? At the beginning, the yield of the plant will be increased 3 times. The yield of the plant will be increases 3 times. So this we call as green revolution. This is called as green revolution, means the increasing the yield of the plant by using the chemical or the agrochemical based agriculture, using the chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides. So by using this one, what happens? The yield will be increases. So simultaneously, what happens as the days are passes, as the time will be passed? So the 1 year the yield will be increases, next year also increases, after 2 3 years, after so many frequent yield, what happens? The yield will be decreases. Yield will be decreases. The yield of the plant will be decreases. Why the yield of the plant will be decreases? Because this chemical, insecticide, pesticides, fertilizers, what happens? This will spoil the soil microbes. We call that as microflora, soil microbes. So what happens? These chemicals, so that will kill the what? Insect as well as the pest. Insect as well as the pest, that will be killed. Along with that, this chemicals, what happens? It will kill the soil microbes. As it will kill the soil microbes, as it will kill the soil microbes, what happens? The fertility of soil will be decreases. The fertility of the soil will be decreases, and this soil will becomes barren, and that soil will becomes barren. As it will becomes barren, the soil will becomes barren. What happens? Soil is the soil is not suitable for the growth of the plant. The soil is not suitable for the growth of the plant, so that the chemicals will convert the fertile soil into the barren soil by the continuous use. And at the beginning yield will be increases. After that one, slowly the yield will be decreases. So along with this one, what happens? These chemicals will cause the pollution. These chemicals will cause the pollution to the soil, water, and air. Okay, so as we are using the chemicals regularly, what happens? Those chemicals will cause the pollution. Those chemicals will cause the pollution to the soil, water, and air. As it will cause the pollution to the soil, water, and air, to the soil, the fertility of the soil will be decreases, because the microbes will play an important role. Because the microbes will play an important role in increasing the soil fertility. Okay, so such microbes will be killed by using the chemicals. Such microbes will be killed by using the microbes. So what happens? That will be convert, that soil will convert the infertile soil or unfertile soil. So these chemicals along with that pathogen, the useful microorganism is also being killed. Okay, these chemicals that may be insecticide, pesticide, or fertilizers. What happens? That will kill the harmful pathogen. Along with that, useful microorganism is also be killed. So by this one, what happens? The yield of the plant will be decreases. By this one, the yield of the plant will be decreases. So this is the use of application, the use of agrochemical based agriculture at the beginning. Okay, so here the Swaminathan, M.S. Swaminathan, he is called as the father of Indian Green Revolution because he has developed the mutation breeding. He has developed the mutation breeding. Because of that reason, the yield of the plant will be increased. So all these are the concept will becomes under agrochemical based agriculture. All these will becomes under agrochemical based agriculture. Next one is the next one is called as organic agriculture. So organic agriculture means by using the product or byproduct of the living organism. The using the product or byproduct of the living organism. So by this one, what happens? The agriculture will be done. So that is called as organic agriculture. Means here they will totally stop the use of chemicals. Here they will totally stop the use of chemicals. Whatever that they will depends on the biological product. Okay, so they may use the cow dung manure. They will apply the cow dung manure for increase the soil fertility. Cow dung manure will be used for the increasing the fertility or vermi compost. Vermi compost means the manure will be produced by the earthworm, vermi compost. Okay, so these are the fertility or these are the fertilizer. These are the fertilizers. These fertilizers will be produced from the biological product that will be produced from the biological product. That is the organic manure, that cow dung manure. Means that dung will be decomposed anaerobically and that will convert into fertility or the manure. So this is the one factor. The next, the waste product of the plant, that remains of the plants and animals. The dead remains of the plants and animals. You people may know that branches of the plant, leaves, whatever that waste will be produced from the plant. So that waste will be dumped in one place. So that will be converted into manure. That manure is called as organic manure. That manure is called as organic manure. By using the organic manure, what happens? The fertility of the soil will be increases. Fertility of the soil will be increases. So how the fertility of the soil will be increases? By growth of microorganism, soil microorganism. Here, by the growth of soil microorganism, what happens? The fertility of the soil will be increases. So this is what the organic based agriculture, organic manure based agriculture. Along with this one, so earlier they are using the insecticides and pesticides, but nowadays what happens? Those farmers who are cultivating the crop plants by organic manure. So what happens? They will prepare the insecticides and pesticides by using the biological product. Okay, so they will prepare the insecticides and pesticides by the neem plant, the leaves of the neem. Okay, that will be powdered and the extract will be sprayed to the plant. Okay, the next, by using the cow urine, they will prepare the insecticides and pesticides. By using that insecticides and pesticides, what happens? They are totally stop the use of chemicals. That may be the what? For chemical fertilizers, that may be the chemical insecticide and pesticide. In the organic agriculture, always the farmers are ready to accept, ready to utilize the organic agriculture. Okay, so here in these two, what happens? The use of chemical fertilizers, the use of chemical fertilizers in the developing country, that will use the burden for the farmers, agriculturists. Why it is burden? The cost of the chemicals, that may be the what? Fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides will be the cost will be more. So that will cause a burden to the farmers or the agriculturists. Okay, but by using the organic manure, so there is no cost. The low cost will be used because the dead remains of the plants and animals will be decomposed, so that will be utilized. So for the dead remains of the plant and animals, the cost will be very less or it will not pays. Okay, the next, the biological product, as I told, insecticides and pesticides. So I told you people that neem, the leaves of the neem, that will be available free. So because of this reason, what happens? The organic agriculture, so what happens? It will consume less cost. But in the agrochemical based agriculture, it will take more cost. So in the developing country, the cost of this one will feel, or the farmer will feel the burden. So this, by this one, what happens? The yield will be increases. By this one, the yield will be increases, but the yield is not sufficient to the growing population. Okay, the yield is not sufficient for the growing population into this agrochemical based as well as the organic based agriculture. So by this one, the yield will be increases, but the yield is not sufficient for the what? Growing population. Okay, then next they have shifted to the another method. That another method is biotechnological, or the crop improved plants will be used for the agriculture. Next one is then next one is that genetic engineered crop sorry, genetic engineered crop based agriculture. Genetic engineering crop based agriculture. So here, so by using this one, agrochemical based agriculture as well as the organic based agriculture, what happens? The yield of the plant is increased, but that is not sufficient for the growing population. Then the farmers or the scientists will think over this one. Then they have developed the crop plan. So that will yield or that will produce more yield. So that produce more yield, that is genetic engineered crop based agriculture. So in this one, what happens? They will change the genetic composition. They will change the genetic composition by the manipulation of the gene. They will change the genetic composition by the manipulation of the gene. So that will what happens helpful for the farmers or the agriculturists. So what happens? So this will be changed. As it will be changed, what happens? It will produce the new organism. That new organism is called as what? Genetically based or genetically modified organism. So as the change in the gene of the organism. Okay, so that new organism will be produced. That new organism is called as genetically modified organism. That is called as genetically modified organism. In this one, it consists that may be the plants, animals, bacteria, fungi. Okay, so these organisms will be modified. So that is plants, animals, bacteria and fungi. So these organisms will be modified. The genetic composition of these organisms will be modified as the gene will be changed. So these organisms are called as genetically modified organism. These organisms are called as genetically modified organism. Why they will change the gene structure? For the increase in the yield. They will change the increase in the yield of the organism. So for this one, what happens? The biotechnologists or genetic engineers, what happens? They have manipulated the gene component of the gene of the organism. So that will alter, that will be changed, and that changed gene will increase the yield of the organism. So that increase in the quality as well as the quantity means the nutritionally the nutritionally the organism will be or the changes will be takes place. The product will be rich in the nutrition. Okay, then more product will be produced. So for this purpose, what happens? The scientists have developed what the crop based on genetic engineered crop based agriculture. Okay, so by this one, okay, here the biotechnologist or the scientist, what happens? They have developed the plant, the they have developed the plant which are having the resistance to the abiotic stress. They are having the plants is having the resistance to abiotic stress. So what are the abiotic stress? That may be the water, drought, salt. So abiotic stress are water, cold, drought, and salt. So by these stress, what happens? The yield will be decreases. So what happens earlier crop when the excess of water will be there? So what happens? That plant, that crop will be died. That crop will be died. When the excess of water will be there. Okay, so during this period, what happens? The plant will be dry. Okay, that will be dry. Then what happens? The yield of the plant will be decreases. The yield of the plant will be decreases. So this is one. The cold. So excess cold to the plant. So then also it will changes the life cycle of the plant. Okay. The next drought. Drought means here in this case the excess of water will be there, but in this case very less amount of water will be there. So in both the condition, what happens? The plant will be dead. Okay, but the scientists have developed to tolerate with this water or it will be the drought. Means if the water is available less, even though the plant can be survived. Like that they have developed. The next salt. So here the scientists have developed the salt resistance. They have developed the salt resistance plant. They have developed the salt resistance plant. Okay, the next one is okay. The next one is reduce the reliance on uses of insecticides and pesticides. Okay, by changing the gene structure in the organism itself, what happens? That plant is having the resistance. That plant is having the resistance to the diseases. Okay, so here that insect and pest, if they will be sit on that plant, crop plant, what happens? Inside the plant, they have changed the gene structure. That gene will produce the toxic chemical, and that toxic chemical will kill the insect and pest. Insect and pest. Okay. So here what happens? They will be reduce the use of what? What? They have reduced the use of insecticides and pesticides. The next one is called as reduce the loss of post harvest or the post harvest loss. Means before harvest the loss will be takes place. After the harvesting, what happens? The loss will be takes place. Means the quality and quantity of the grains will be changed. The quality and quantity of the grains will be changed. So that change the grains, what happens? That will reduce the yield of the plant. That will reduce the yield of the plant. So in view of this one, what happens? The scientists have developed the crop plant which is having the post-harvest loss. Okay. The next one is that the use of the what minerals. So here the scientists have developed the crop plant which can utilize more and more what the minerals which are available in the soil, and that minerals will be added, that nutrients will be added to the plant. Okay, the next one is so what happens? The scientists have developed to increase the nutritional value of the plant. The scientists have developed to increase the nutritional value of the plant. Means that should consist the nutrition to cure the diseases. Okay. So for example, golden rice. Okay, so this is the golden rice will be developed by using the genetic engineering. So this golden rice is what happens? It is having the nutritional value because it consists vitamin A. It consists vitamin A. By consuming the vitamin A, what happens? One of the disease will be cured. That is night blindness. Okay, like that by using the biotechnology, what happens? They have developed the nutritional value. So by using the biotechnology in the genetic engineering, they have developed the what? The nutritional value by changing the what? Gene structure. And to this vitamin A, that beta carotene, to this one vitamin A. So the beta carotene is precursor for the vitamin A. For the synthesis of vitamin A, what happens? The beta carotene is required. For the synthesis of vitamin A, the beta carotene will be required. So this beta carotene is called as precursor of the vitamin A. Such genes are inserted or introduced into the golden rice. such genes are introduced into the golden rice, and this is called as increase in the nutritional value. This is called as increase in the nutritional value. So all these are the what application or genetic engineering will be used to improve the crop. So by what the crop will be improved by using the by having the resistance to what avoiding stress, reduce use of insecticides and pesticides, reduce post harvest loss, okay, use of minerals, correct nutritional value. So all these will be used. Along with this, what happens? Here, plants or okay, here what happens? The genetically modified organism that may be the plants. So to this plant, the scientists what they have did means they have inserted the resistance gene inside the plant. They have inserted the resistance gene inside the plant. So in this one of this one is called as BT In this one of that is called as BT So this BT gene will be taken from the soil-borne bacteria. This BT gene will be taken from the soil-borne bacteria that is called as Bacillus thuringiensis. This will be used or this taken from the soil-borne bacteria that is called as Bacillus thuringiensis. So this Bacillus thuringiensis will consist the gene. That gene is called as BT gene, and this BT gene will produce the toxic substance. This BT gene will produce the toxic substance in that one, and this toxic substance will kill the insect. This BT gene will produce the toxic substance, and this toxic substance will kill the what insect. Okay, so this toxic substance will be produced inside the plant. This toxic substance will be produced inside the plant, that is in the form of crystal proteins. That will produce in the form of crystal proteins. So this crystal proteins, what happens when the insect will be ingested, that will be taken, because the insect will be feed on the leaves. Okay, when the insect will taken the crystal protein, so when the crystal protein will enter into the insect stomach, that is the midgut. In the midgut, what happens? These crystal proteins will be solubilized in the what insect gut. The crystal protein will be soluble. Okay, crystal protein will be soluble. Why it is soluble? Because in the midgut, what happens? It is having the alkaline pH. In the midgut, it is having the alkaline pH. That alkaline pH will help to solubilize the crystal proteins. As it is solubilize the crystal proteins, what happens? This protein will damage the epithelial, that will damage the epithelial cells of the midgut. Means that will create a pores or holes, that will create say pores or holes in the epithelial cells. Through these epithelial cells or these pores to the epithelial cell, what happens? The fluid will be enters, and this epithelial cell will becomes swollen. This epithelial cell will become swollen. As it will become swollen, what happens? The insect will be died, because complete excess of swelling of the epithelial cells in the midgut, that may leads to the what? The death of the insect. Okay, by this one, what happens? The BT, what will kill the insect. So this BT gene will be used in the various what plants? BT cotton, BT rice, BT brinjal. Okay, that so many crops, in that crops the BT will be used. Okay, so all these are the concept will be comes under what? Biotechnology in the agriculture. Okay, the remaining we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.